So I am from Colorado, which I have probably mentioned a time or two on the channel up to this point because Colorado, love it, awesome, cool. And I am finding it very interesting today as I'm walking around wearing my very thin, very threadbare Colorado shirt, how glad I am that I don't live in Colorado, now in January, where you have to put on 14 layers on top of this just to get to your car without freezing to death. So I'm happy that I'm in the Pacific Northwest right now. My shirt kind of actually does have something to do with today's pour. So, hey, there's a weird connection, but it's a connection. And I will tell you what that is in just a minute. But before I do, hello, I am Mrs. Soap and Clay. Let's make stuff. How's it going, sudsers? Welcome back to the channel. You are at Soap and Clay, where we make all the soapy things, and you are here for day 285 of 365 days of soap, and we're making a bar that we've made on the channel before, but we're not really doing it to show you technique. We are doing it to answer some questions from the soap blogs. So every once in a while I do some lurking on these soap forums just to see what everybody's talking about and all the things, and it's mostly all the same stuff. Cure time, the things that I get into with the FAQs, really. And this one was actually a very interesting conversation about mold size that went completely off the rails and absolutely sideways. Like, instead of people just answering her question about mold sizes, they started to essentially just like attack her for, well, if you don't know this, you should not be making soap. Like, it was weird. I think everybody was in a mood that day, and it was terrible. And so actually I did chime in, and I ended up getting into a fight with a whole bunch of people, but that's not the point. The point is, she had asked about mold sizes, and I actually do have opinions on mold sizes and what you should buy, whether you are starting out or whether you have been doing it for a while, because mold sizes are important, but also not only are mold sizes important, how you store them is equally important. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be showing you a batch of soap that I am remaking for a custom order for the Lifeline soap that we had done several months ago, at the very beginning of the channel, actually, with the heart and the Lifeline. Yes, but I'm going to show you how to split essentially a giant loaf, a giant mold, to use just for individual purposes, and then you just have the one mold that you, whatever, it all makes sense in the video as usual, because I never make sense here. So let's go talk about it there. So as you can see, my answer to what size mold should you buy is big. You should make or buy big molds. And the reason for that is what I'm going to show you today. So I'm going to show you using the Lifeline soap. Now, I've been making a whole bunch of them this today, because it was a custom order that came in and they wanted kind of different scents for each like dozen bars. And normally I don't do that, but because this is a batch of soaps that are going to nurses specifically, and I love that, so I will do whatever you want. And so they selected a whole bunch of scent blends, and I am making each 1 dozen batch different. Now, the reason why I think you should go bigger mold than smaller mold is the biggest thing is storage problems, right? If you have a bunch of 1 pound batches and a bunch of 1 pound molds and a bunch of 3 pound molds and a bunch of 5 pound molds, where are you going to put them all? So my big thing is make
bigger molds or get bigger molds and then just like block them off. I just blocked this off with a piece of cardboard that is, you know, going to hold everything in place so we can, you know, do the thing. Sorry, I'm super distracted right now. The kids are screaming outside, the dogs are barking, the soap apprentice is texting, all the things are going on. But you know, I'm not eating. That comes later. I mean, I'm trying to be good or something. But yeah, so then when you have your bigger molds or whatever, you can just block off the area of the amount of soaps that you want to make, adjust your batch accordingly, and make those. And then you can immediately use the next side, or you can just leave it like that, and when you need to pour another soap, you know, just use the other side or whatever. And that's like the best way to do that, really. And so this is like this first stage of the Lifeline soap, and what's going into this as far as a scent blend is a rosemary mint. Now normally I would be doing this if I needed to split my molds, which I almost never do anymore, but you know, starting out I super did this a lot. This one, normally when I split my molds, it would be either it's usually always two distinct soaps, so you can tell where the line is to do the cut. In this case it's not, so I had to be a little bit smart with the way I was doing it. So one side is, for this particular batch, is rosemary mint, and the other side is just rosemary. And there's, yeah, so we're doing that thing. And I am getting the bottom layer thickened up. Now I've done the Lifeline soap before, right? I did this at the beginning of the channel when one of my girlfriends, who's a respiratory therapist, actually took off and joined the fight in Manhattan during the early days of COVID, and that was very inspiring to me. So I made, you know, a batch of Lifeline soap things for her, and that's awesome. But now I'm going to make it for a whole bunch of other nurses because, you know, continuing to fight the battle and do the things. So about half the batch got separated off and thickened up with the stick again, and then we will be putting, after this has set up enough in the mold, I will be sculpting the little heartbeat line into it and then covering it in mica. And you know how much I love mica lines, guys, right? Like that's my favorite. Mica lines are great. Actually, it was with this particular soap that we had so many problems putting a stupid mica line down, and I got all these comments on, you should use a tea strainer and you should do this and you should do that. And I tried all those things and I didn't like it any more than any other mica line that I'd ever done. But I got this cool thing in a big bag of diatomaceous earth, and I went, this could be awesome. And so that's the thing that I'm using, and I will be damned if it doesn't put down a delightful line of mica. Like, it's so awesome and so much, I mean, it's less painful than anything that I have done to date in the years and years and years of doing stupid mica lines. That worked out. I was happy about that. There was less waste. It went on really nicely. And I mean, it's all over right now. I'm getting angry with it, but that took way less time than any other mica line I have ever done. Ever. So yeah, get one of those things. I don't know what they're called. Accordion something. Those are awesome. Yeah. And then I'm going to put in the heart and then put the rest of the soap batter over it. Now, normally the soap batter would be very, very fluid. Unfortunately, well, I mean, fortunately, because thank you, customers, but there were customers that were in the shop, and so I had to walk away after I'd poured that layer, the bottom layer, and I was away for like 30 minutes. So as a result, everything got very thick. But it's all fine because I'm going to just use the side of the mold and scrape everything, or just sort of put everything on the side of the mold and then press it down around the heart, because the biggest problem is I don't want any big air pockets underneath the heart where the tip of the heart is for this. And so I want to press it down into those cracks as much as possible without marring the surface of the mica line. So that's what I'm doing for that side, and yeah, it should be fine. There will be a couple pockets, but remember, I cut my soap really, really thin, or really, really early, so it's still soft. So it will all be awesome, I am sure. However, I am speeding this part up because it is painful to watch this thick soap batter. I hate thick soap batter so much. So much. This is like the least fun part of everything. But, you know, that's all good and should be awesome. And look, everything stayed in place really, really well. So there's 1 dozen batches or bars of soap in, you know, a 2 dozen bar mold thing. And you could even go bigger. You could go giant. You could, I have giant slabs that I can never film, but they're giant. They're like the size of a countertop. And we just, you know, block all those off and just pour little sections and then continue to move the blocks as we need to and get the soaps out. It's all a thing. And it's an awesome thing. So yeah, bigger soap molds. Let's check out the second half of this pour. So the second part of the pour, it's the same oil blend, all of the things. It's another 3-pound batch, and yeah, we're going to do the exact same thing. We are going to, you know, scent it and pour it and do all the things. And I mean, I'm not going to show you the lye thing again because I already did that once in a video, and so you know how the lye thing works. You pour the lye in and you do the things. It's all awesome. And because it had set up for so long, I was able to actually remove the piece of cardboard in between them to do this pour. And you can do that, or if you're crunched for time and you need to pour 2 batches like back to back, leave the cardboard in, leave your divider in, and then just pull it out right before the well, as soon as you're done, really. And so yeah, I'm sorry I got distracted again because I saw my face in the video for the second time in this video. I'm usually pretty good about cutting that out, but not today. Not today. And that's all the thing. So yeah, and the sculpting tool shockingly survived this. I had so many batches that I had to make with this little cardboard sculpting tool thingy that Georgia May made for me because she's better at all the things. And shockingly, it survived all of these batches because there were a lot, and it was starting to get kind of wobbly at the end because, you know, it's made out of cardboard. But again, totally fine. There are actual places that you can go to like buy sculpting tools, but I don't know why you would. Just use cardboard. Don't you always have cardboard around? Like, I always have cardboard around. Always. 100% of the time. That's just, I don't know. Maybe I'm more addicted to Amazon than other people, but yeah, cardboard. Look at that poof. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Check that out. Look at all that mica just flying everywhere. It's insane. Look at that, number 3, that my face is still in the video. It's just becoming a thing at this point. I should actually stop and edit it out, but I'm not gonna at this point. Like, I've already talked about it and pointed it out, so now we just need a counter on the screen that says, hey, number of times you've seen Mrs. Soap and Clay, the top of Mrs. Soap and Clay's head. 3 so far is the number. 3. That's the whole thing. And yep, then it's just pouring this nice fluid batter over the top of it. And there was a couple little chunks that came out right away, and that's because, again, the thicker soap batter underneath, you're going to see another one right there. The thicker soap batter underneath was sculpted away and put back in the main pot. And as far as what it looks like when it's all done, you can't tell the difference. You can't tell. It all does its thing, and it saponifies into, you know, firm soap. So that's awesome, but that's what the clump is. That's all. It's not ricing or any sort of weirdness going on with the scent. It's just there was thicker soap that was added back to the pot. And yeah, this guy actually will go into the oven for C-pop and gel. I'm not concerned about the heart inside because it's such a big embed. I'm not concerned about it melting, so we're going to do the thing because I need to get these out of the mold as quickly as possible because with this order, like, I'm using my bigger soap molds than this. And I'm still going to need every single one of them for the next like 3 days. And I have a lot of soap molds. So yeah, it was a pretty big order for the nurses' soaps along with everything else that I was having to make. So yeah, that thing though, the accordion banger pusher mica thing, it's not for mica. Again, I got that out of some diatomaceous earth, but that thing's a winner. That's my new favorite mica tool for sure. And again, these are ready to get put in the oven for C-pop and gel, and we will cut them into their individual parts tomorrow. Now, the last little bit of this video is going to be super weird because I was out of room on my camera and I didn't realize that it stopped filming. So there it is, all set up, and like miraculously I actually used the same loaf for the cut as I did for the pour, and that's, yeah. And hand cut for sure, because the heart inside is actually very big, so we just do the hand cut thingy thing. And distractions again, because my angles are weird. I should definitely change that so you can actually see all of the bars that are being cut, but I think that's actually what happens here. I'm like super zoomed in right now, just for funsies. I'm trying to be like, I don't know, an editing pro or something, but I'm not, because whatever, I'm not that kind of video channel anyway. I don't do things for like the artistic editing. I do it for the artistry of the soap, really. But yeah, see, there you go. You put it out like that, and yeah, now you can see all of them. There they are. And yeah, the Lifeline soaps are super beautiful. That was the thicker side, right? The first one that I cut, and so there are a couple little marks there in the underneath the heart, but easy enough to sort of smoosh out. So I will do that after the soap is a little bit firmer, so I don't really mar the surface of that mica line. But that mica line's gorgeous. Didn't that totally work? That worked so well. And yeah, like I said, the end of this video gets a little weird, so you don't get my last final, you know, still of the soap all like staged or whatever, because I didn't realize that my camera had cut off, and I just didn't realize it. So that's, you know, the thing. And you're gonna end up with a very strange end image of just the knife hanging out there. But that is the how big of a soap mold should you buy thing.
The Lifeline soaps, still so beautiful. I love making those so much. So whenever somebody requests a custom like big batch of them, I love it. Yes, for sure. 2, yeah, get the bigger mold, block off the area. You know how much you'll need for a 3-pound batch versus a 6-pound batch or a 9-pound batch. Whatever, just block off that area, pour, and then you can either leave the block in while you pour the next section and then pull it out right before, you know, saponification once you're done pouring, or you can let the other side set up and then, you know, fill the other. It's all good and it all cuts cleanly. Yes, do that, and then you don't have to worry about what you're going to do with a bajillion 1-pound soap molds when you start scaling up, because you already have the tools in front of you. So that would be my recommendation for mold sizes. I hope you guys had fun and learned some stuff today, for sure. For the soapers out there, I hope none of you are the ones that I got froggy with on the Facebook page for this particular thread, because the people that I got froggy with were being very, very mean to this lady, and that's not cool. We don't do that around here, and I will always, always call people out for it. So, you know, if it was you, leave your little dislike and go. That's cool too. For those of you who like, you know, are here and are not mean to other soapers just for the sake of being mean, hey, thank you. I appreciate you and your existence and your presence in the world and in my world, in the Sudser community. Thank you so much for being a Sudser and for joining me for another round of 365 days of soap. I'm out of here for today. I will see you guys all again tomorrow. Bye.